We have another good story for you today to help you bounce back to success. Today, I want to talk about the options that we run into in our life, in business. For many reasons, we may be hard pressed to take deal A or deal B.
So, a lot of times when you face situations in your life and in your business where there are two options given to you and you don't like either one, you know what the answer is? Don't take either one. Walk away, do something else.
Welcome back to our channel. We're all about picking ourselves back up from a bad fall and this time making the success that we want to make. I thank you for joining us. We have another good story for you today to help you bounce back to success. Today, I want to talk about the options that we run into in our life, in business. For many reasons, we may be hard pressed to take deal A or deal B. But there's a third option that I want to talk about. I'll explain that in a moment. Let's bring on our co-host, Max James. Hi, Max. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. Good
Good
afternoon, Tony.
afternoon. We're at B plus today?
At least, maybe even an A minus.
Woohoo! All right. Sounds good. Max, I just mentioned in the short little tiny intro here that in your book, oh, let's go find it. Where is it? Chapter 6. I think I've
Okay.
lost my notes here. You talk about having different options. The title in your chapter 6 is the entrepreneurial lessons from the US Air Force Academy. You give some
Right.
very good information, some great stories, really takes you back into the life of how it was back then. And I want to ask you, in your athletic experiences back then, now these are experiences which have molded you and helped you become who and what you are right now. You were regularly
Agreed.
faced with choices, and these choices were the difference between whether you're going to fly or not. And you had some, let's call it, let's be polite and say multiple failures trying to make the intercollegiate athletic teams. Can you tell us about some of these and the decisions and how that kind of molded your character and eventually impacted your future life?
Absolutely. First of all, I had reasonable success in high school. I was on the track team in Leonard. I played basketball in Leonard and so forth and so on. And so, but from a small school. Remember, I'm an old country boy from down south. So, in any event, when I got to the academy, I just assumed that I would be able to make some of the intercollegiate athletic teams. I had won city championship playing tennis back home, and so I'm all around kind of guy. The competition when you only graduate about 100 kids in your class is a little less than when you get to the Air Force Academy. And a lot of the people there, the guys when I was there, were recruited to come to the academy. So in any event, it didn't bother me. I can play basketball. Well, all the guys were 6 something and great shooters and athletes. And I learned pretty quickly as I tried out for the basketball team that I was not going to be chosen. So I went on to the next one and I tried tennis. And some kid from Kentucky, it went 6-0, 6-0,
Oh boy.
6-0. I didn't even score a point against him. I mean, he really.
Ouch.
So I finally made the diving team. And there's a great story in the book about how you learn to dive from 3 meters and from 1 meter in intercollegiate competition. And so I had a bad experience on a dive, knocked myself out trying to do a 2.5 from 3 meters, 4 meters. And the coach had to dive in and pull me out. And off to the flight surgeon I go and ended up with a sinus infection of all things. And so the flight surgeon said, Max, you got two choices. You can either quit diving or you can forget about going to pilot training. Well, those were bad choices. And if I quit diving, the other thing that was going to happen was I was going to be taken off the intercollegiate athletic training tables. And as a freshman, if you're not on a training table, you may not eat a lot because the hazing and the memory and the, how fast does a thunderbolt go and what's this, that, and the other thing, stuff you have to memorize or you don't eat, sit there at attention. And so I watched many meals when I was not on an
Oh
athletic
no.
team get pushed off into the garbage can. All right, and back you went. So I didn't want to do that. So the choice was for me was if I gave up diving, which I didn't want to do, then the other choice was going back to the athletic tables. Those are two options, Tony, that I didn't like. So a lot of times when you face situations in your life and in your business where there are two options given to you and you don't like either one, you know what the answer is? Don't take either one. Walk away. Do something else. And that's what I did. I left those two options, neither of which I wanted to do. I left them and I went and I played rugby. And so that was the way I kept off of the regular hazing tables and went back to training tables. It's kind of an epilogue, if you will, to that story. So I'm playing rugby, and I won't go into all the details, but I got smacked really hard by a big, huge guy, and the only thing between him and the goal was me. And I thought I could go left or right. I got this guy, and he went right over the top of me, and I woke up in the ambulance on the way to the
Oh
hospital with a concussion. And so the same flight surgeon said, "Here we go again, Max. What are you doing? It's either quit rugby or go back to the training, either which I wanted to do." So there was a third option. I became a coach at rugby and got back to the training tables. So, in any event, life sometimes throws two options at you, and you say, "I don't want to do either one." Well, maybe there's a third choice, and that's don't do either one. Go do something
You
else.
know, that's very strong because I think I've mentioned I've been in the corporate world for quite a few decades as well as in the entrepreneurial world. And usually
Right,
you're going after a deal or you're going after something very important that's worth working for.
right. Yes, sir.
And you really want it. Sometimes you'll take less to get more, or take more to get less. I'm not quite saying it right, but you'll make
Right.
concessions. But never does it really enter our mind to just walk away from it. Yet it's very, very powerful. Somewhere, I think it's in your book here, where you're in Beverly Hills with a team of
Yeah.
attorneys.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through that story. That's a powerful lesson.
Yeah, it was a lesson that I learned there that has been really valuable to me. Sometimes you just need to walk away, as we said. So uh, these attorneys were negotiating a very big multi-million dollar deal, and it wasn't going well. And the tempers and tension both were rising. And the big boss walks in, and he said, "I understand we're having some problems here." "Yes, sir. We're trying to work this thing out, but it doesn't look good." And I'm ticked off about it. And he said, "Oh, hang on a second. We're friends here. I don't want to get if we can't get satisfied, let's just forget the deal. Come on, I tell you what, I'll buy lunch. Let's go. Let's just whoa. Wait a second, wait a second." And so it was an excellent tool, but he was absolutely prepared to walk away from the deal in order to establish friendship. So it turned out to be a good tool, but I can tell you, knowing this gentleman very well, he was willing. If rather than create this kind of animosity between the two groups, let's just forget it. Let's go away. Well, they went to lunch. They probably had a few drinks. They went back and they signed the deal.
That's very smart, very clever. Because I didn't see anything like that sort of style back then. It was either I don't like this deal, walk away and just leave. But usually it's leave in a bad mood, a bad
That's right.
taste in your mouth.
Yep.
Say
Yep.
unkind things about each other or whatever, but just leave. But this is pull back, and then uh, sort of like have things just kind of pull you back in again and make a deal. It's very interesting. It just shows that if it's not as important as you make it seem, it can get accomplished then. Something like that.
Yeah, I guess it's a great lesson in diplomacy, and it's one that I certainly needed to learn in order to be a success in business. And there have been many times, according to the book, The Harder I Fall, I've fallen many times in that situation. In fact, I was at a board meeting and I was upset because, well, it doesn't matter, but things weren't going like we expected. And one of the board members, and I was a little loud, I guess, and one of the board members said, Max, you know what? You have the diplomatic skills of a junkyard dog.
Oh, no.
Oh, so I have remembered that.
And you've
It was
used
said in
that
public.
successfully.
Yep. So I bounced back. All right, and we settled the problem at the board meeting. But anyway, diplomacy sometimes is better than the other kind of pressure that we
Better
talked
than the junkyard dog. Oh, you, you might get a nickname now.
Oh, I've had it. It stuck.
Oh, okay. That's what they secretly called the boss. Well, for our audience, this and other lessons are in this book, which I'm going to say correctly this time. The Harder I Fall, the Higher I Bounce. You can get it on Amazon. Down in the description, you're going to get a link, and it's coming out on Audible sometime. Just stay tuned. When that does, I'll throw that in the description. And can also find out about it on your website, which is Max James Author, or do I have that backwards? .com.
Nope. MaxJamesAuthor.com.
MaxJamesAuthor.com. Okay, great. So again, description below. And if you have any story about you didn't like plan A or plan B, we'd like to hear about it. And if you like this podcast, would you please give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below. And we have a couple more videos coming out. So if you hit that notification bell, you should be informed when a couple more videos come out. We're having some fun with this. I know you're having fun with this too. Of course you are. All right. Do that now. We'll see you on the next episode. Max, I want to thank you so much, sir.
Always good to be with you, Tony.